Welcome to the Cal Phelps Show as we head into week 6 of the 2016 season for the Lyon College Scots football team. And we'll take a look back into week 5 on Saturday when the Scots travel to Muskogee, Oklahoma to take on Macomb College. And we'll take a sneak peek ahead to this Saturday's game at home as the Scots open up a homestand of 3 games in a row, and they'll take on Southwest Assemblies of God University. I'm John Kruger, Assistant Athletic Director for Sports Information and Marketing, and I'm joined here today again by Coach Kyle Phelps. And Coach, let's take a quick look back now against the Macomb game on Saturday. It was a 34-21 setback. Let's talk a little bit about the ebb and flow of the game a little bit. We took a 7-0 lead on the second possession, went down, scored on a 38-yard touchdown run by quarterback Michael Wall. And then we pushed the lead later on in the quarter, or in the half, to 14-6 with a 40-yard touchdown pass from Wall to Trent Webb. Talk about how things were going early on as far as what you anticipated in the flow of the game.
Yeah, I think, coming out and the way we played to start with was, pretty good. We took a halftime lead in. We did miss a field goal right before halftime that, I think may have shifted a little bit of momentum to them, right there before half, that they felt a little better going into halftime than they would have had we put some points there on the board. But, we had the distance there, we just missed it left. And, so it was a pretty deep field goal. But, it's one that I think overall the flow of the game was good in the first half. And then in the second half, they just outplayed us in the second half, and that's what made them come out on the top of the scoreboard. And it was a tough game, it was a physical game, but they just got the better of us this week.
Temperatures were kind of warm in Oklahoma on Saturday, but we had a good following. The band was there and gave you guys some good support. As the game went on, like you said, we struggled a little bit, but I think the fans, although I know you don't make excuses, I think the fans need to keep in mind that we were without some top defensive players. Our top 2 tacklers on the season, Brandon Pender and D'Angelo Crawford, both missed the game, and they combined for 60 tackles this season. And then we're also Stephen Benedict in the secondary was out with an injury, and so. We had 4 guys that weren't there, and that's tough to replace, isn't it?
Yeah, we actually had one more too. Nick Bernier, who's our starting defensive end, was out last week too with a bad deal on his leg, and it's tough. Anytime you're missing key players on either side of the ball, always makes it tough. More than anything, it makes the depth side of things tough, and. When it's a warm day and tough day and a physical ball game, depth becomes a key part of the game. And, we struggle with a little bit of depth there because of having some injuries. But hopefully we'll get a few of those guys back this week going into the Sagu game. But I don't know all the ins and outs of our injury report just yet. But we should get some of those guys back. And, as far as the fans go, it was awesome. We had, the band was there, which we enjoy their support and are happy that they were able to travel over. And then, we still had a pretty good following over to Muskogee as well, which we love any type of support we can get from our fans on the road. And it was a good ball game. It just, like I say, it was just a tough side of it for us that we came out on the losing end.
Yeah, I think we had almost as many fans to the game as they did, which is kind of nice when you go on the road and travel 4.5 hours. Looking at a little bit on the statistics from the game, we finished with 184 yards rushing. Michael Bowles led the way with 93 yards on 19 carries. Michael Wall completed 10 of 22 passing for 93 yards, and we didn't turn the ball over. That's I think the second week in a row we've done that. Got to be pleasing as a coach, especially after the way we started the season.
Yeah, it's always nice when you don't turn the ball over, but we still got to do some better things on offense. We've got to make some little bit better reads when we need to make them, and know where we got to where our holes are opening up and things like that. But all in all, I think the offense is progressing well. I think the whole team as a whole is progressing well too, but it's nice when you don't turn the ball over.
Johnny Thomas led Bacone with 204 yards rushing on 27 carries. And their quarterback, Trey Seward, he was kind of a nemesis to us last year, and he was pretty tough again this year, completing 16 out of 22 for 231 yards. He's a tough guy to contain, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I think it's like you say though, when you're missing those key defensive guys, it becomes a little tougher to contain someone of that nature. But he's a tough player. He's a good player. He's one of their better guys. Obviously, their running back's probably the best guy. And when you're missing in the linebacking core, it becomes a little easier to gain some yards on us, things like that. But I thought defensively we still played pretty well. We held them to fewer points than they had last year. I don't know about statistically how we held them compared to last year, but it's one that we just, like I say, depth kind of got us on the defensive side more than anything. But, they had a couple big plays in the past game where we had an opportunity to make a play on the ball. We just didn't make the play. So it was pleasing to know we were in the right spots. We just, we missed a tackle, we missed a chance to make a play on the ball, things like that. So we can get those things fixed. If we weren't where we're supposed to be, those are the harder ones to fix. Right. But us being in the right places make it a little bit easier for us going into this week to get some things fixed.
Now, we led 14-12 at the half. Did you make any adjustments at halftime, or did you feel like we were in pretty good shape?
Yeah, anytime you go into halftime, you make some type of adjustments on both sides of the ball based on certain things that they may have done that they haven't done previously on film, or that we feel like we need to do better at, things like that. So we always make adjustments at halftime, and we came back out in the second half with a good plan to move forward.
Yeah, I guess when you're missing defensive players, you're playing a team that's got an offense that's capability of scoring some points. I guess the ideal situation for any team would be to get in there and try to control the ball and keep the ball away from their offense.
Yeah, I think that's our goal every week we go out there. I think over the course of the year, time of possession, we probably won it in almost every game we've played. Because that's our offense. We want to control the ball. We want to make sure we take long drives and score points when we can, and all those sorts of things. So that's the goal all the time, is to try and get our defense off, keep them off the field as long as we can and keep them fresh and things like that. And then on their side of the ball is obviously try and get the ball, get off the field as fast as we can and get the offense back out there. I think team-wise, we work well together as far as an offense and a defense, and I think the offense has done a lot of good things as far as controlling the tempo of the game, controlling the clock in the games, and defensively, we just haven't quite got off the field when we needed to sometimes in some key things, but then we've made a lot of great plays too. We made a stand, they got all the way down to the 1 yard line, made a great stand, and things like that. So defensively, we do a lot of good things too. So it's our balanced deal. We just I think depth more than anything got us this week, and hopefully we'll get some guys back.
Well, a 34-21 setback. Now, this was the only conference game this week in the Central States Football League. This week we'll take on the team, Southwest Assembly of God University. This will be their conference opener, and they are 2-2 on the year. The Lions opened the year with a 27-21 win over Howard Payne. They had a couple of setbacks to East Texas Baptist and Hardin Simmons. And then on Saturday, they beat Austin College 23-17. So they're 2-2, and this is their conference opener. This week's game is going to be sponsored by the Wood Family Dealerships in Batesville, and we appreciate their support. Coming up for October, of course, Saturday is October 1st. It'll be the Project Pink for the entire month for Lyon College, and the players will be wearing pink, and talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we're going to do Project Pink, which is a United Way of fundraiser during the month of October, and so all the funds that we raise throughout this will go towards that Project Pink. I think there'll be places to be able to donate at the game. Our players have all donated at least $5 towards the cause, as well as our coaching staff. So that'll be nice to be able to turn that amount of money over on the front end no matter what. But it'd be great to get some more support from our fans and things, because it is going to a great cause, and it's for breast cancer awareness, and it's for the money in Project Pink is used for people in Independence County and surrounding areas that United Way supports here. So it's going to a good cause in our local area, which is always what you try and do whenever you do a fundraisers and things like that. So it's one that our guys will wear pink socks for it. We had a donation for those, which was an awesome thing for our guys to be able to get to do that. It's just nice the support we get from people and are able to do certain things towards causes, and the fact that our guys jumped in and wanted to do something for breast cancer awareness is awesome as a coach too. They wanted to give some money towards it when they're college students, and a lot of them, it's tough to come up with some money here and there, but they wanted to do this for a good cause, and I appreciate the support that our players gave to it, and we're looking forward to having some pink on throughout the whole month of October, and look forward to hopefully raising a lot of money for Project Pink.
All right. So when you come out to the game on Saturday and the 4 o'clock kickoff at Pioneer Stadium, and you see the players with pink on, you know that the washing just didn't go bad on Friday night. On looking a little bit ahead, just to let everybody know, on the following Saturday, a week from Saturday on the 8th, when we host Texas College, it's going to be a pink out game. And so, of course, we invite all fans to wear pink during the month of October to join with the team and support the breast cancer awareness. But especially on the October 8th game against Texas College, we ask everybody to show their support and wear pink to that game. Looking at the Sagu team, they came to the game, like I said, 2-2, but they have not started conference play. J.P. Lowry is their top running back with 385 yards and 4 touchdowns. They've played a couple quarterbacks this year and had some injury problems. Their starter is going to be Lincoln Kennitzer. He's completed 65% of his passes. He's 41 of 63 for 427 yards. Their original starter, who we played last year, he's been injured, and he's a pretty good quarterback himself. He was completing 72%. Talk a little bit about their offense and how we're going to try to attack it this week.
Yeah, it's a potent offense, and it's one that they can score at any moment. They're a tough team. They're physical. They do run the ball. JP is a good running back that we're going to have to contain. But their offense they like to throw the football too. And there's not a big drop off between 1 and 2 on their quarterback depth chart. I hate that they have an injury with their starting quarterback, but their backup guy has done some really nice things. Watching him on film and things, he's a good player as well and completes a lot of passes to a lot of different guys, and he runs the offense really well for him. And it's going to be a tough game for us. It's going to be one that we're going to have to contain the pass game, and kind of go from there, trying to force them to run the ball some. But then they got a good back too, so it's a double-edged sword for us this week with their offense. But we'll put in a good game plan this week. Coach Howard and the defensive staff will get those guys ready to go on defense, and we'll face their offense and see what we can do.
Yeah, I guess it seems like everybody in our conference has a pretty good offense, and it's going to obviously be tough. No, our offense, we've been moving the football, not turning it over the last 2 weeks. And it's going to be, I guess, a key to continue to progress and get better for this week as well.
Yeah, it is. On our offensive side, we've got to progress. We've got to get a little bit better on some certain things. Make some tweaks and changes here and there, and get ready for their defense. Their defense is a big physical defense too. They have some big guys up front. I think they got a couple 300-pound D tackles. So we've faced some big guys, but I don't know if we've faced big guys all the way across the front like we will this week probably. But they're a good defense too. I mean, they got an All-American playing defensive tackle. They came out of conference last year. We faced him, and he's a very, very good defensive player. So we have to account for certain guys on their defense, and we have to get ready to play our game, and be physical as an offense and pound the ball. which there's no secret. That's what we do. We're a run-heavy offense and have to throw it when we have to, but for the most part, we try and pound the rock. And I think that's what our team's built around is pounding the ball. Our offensive line's very good at run blocking, and we enjoy watching those guys push some guys around and try and get our backs some open space. And that's going to be no different than what we try and do this week.
Yeah, we ran the ball for 184 yards. Michael Bowles is still one of the top rushers in the country. He's number 3, I believe, again this week. He's over the 600-yard mark on the year. And I guess when you're playing a team that's big and pretty physical, it's going to be important for us to continue to mix the ball up to kind of keep them off balance.
Yeah, and that's where I think there's good things that we have multiple people that run the ball, so our guys can stay fresh in the backfield. Offensive line wise, we have some guys that can rotate in if we need them to, but those guys are conditioned well. We've done well with getting in shape and getting conditioned to make long drives and balls, and it's one that it should be a good ball game. It should be a physical ball game. There's going to be a lot of hitting going on. They're a very, very good team. They're a very well coached team. Coach Tristan does a fantastic job with their team and getting them ready and prepared to play. And it's going to be a battle. And offensively, we just got to continue to sustain drives, and probably the more we can keep them off the field, the better off we're going to be as far as keeping their offense off the field and keeping our offense on the field. To give our defense as many breaks as they can and as much time off the field as we possibly can to stop that high-powered offense.
So Lyon College will return home for the final 3-game homestand of the year as they take on Southwest Assembly of God University on Saturday at 4 p.m. at Pioneer Stadium, sponsored by Wood Family Dealerships, and we hope that everybody will take the opportunity, wear your pink, and come out and support the Scots as we start our last home stretch of the season. I'm John Kruger. We thank you again for joining us on this week's edition of the Cal Phelps Show, and we'll see you at the stadium on Saturday.